And welcome to episode 1 of the Box Nostalgia Podcast with PoNGa and Beerski. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to get this going. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good too, man. I'm really excited as well. Yeah, we've been talking about this, I think, since PoNGa has been on the It's Beer O'Clock podcast. Um, he's been teasing me for months. He finally texted me and said that he was interested in getting it going. So here we are. I've been chatting about it back and forth for probably a couple weeks now. Got everything set up and ready to go. So we're ready to kill it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was on your channel and I just felt like we had a good flow. We kind of went back and forth really good. I think we have some differing opinions on things and a lot of the same opinions on other things. And I think it'll be fun to kind of go back and forth throughout this whole entire podcast.
Yeah, a little journey that we got going on for you guys. So yeah, again, thank you everyone for watching. We're super pumped to be here, and we're gonna hop right into it. So first item up for discussion today is actually the item of the week. I'll let PoNGa get started on that. We're gonna discuss every week that we do this an item that we have, give a little backstory on the item, and chat about it from there. So
Yeah, yeah. Before I show my item of the week, just a little structured podcast. So, there's a lot of things out there that are more like Q&A focused. And I think the motivation here for us is to make it a little more structured of a podcast, to have some segments where we do them every week. And then when we do some lives later on, things that could be interactive with the chat as well, that's going to be fun. So as Beerski said, I think the first one we're going to start off with is item of the week. So we're each going to show off an item every week, just briefly, talk about why we like it, why we think it's cool, and then go from there. So my first item of the week is something that's probably not thought about all that often, and I'll just show it really quick. So it's a Stormfront booster pack. So the first thing I will say about this pack art is it's just beautiful. I mean, the purple just kind of pops out at you, not something you really see anymore. What I really like about it is it's from Diamond and Pearl. I think when we always think of like vintage packs, we always go back to WotC, because that's kind of what we grew up with.
yeah.
And I think like Diamond and Pearl kind of gets overlooked. I know other people have kind of talked about Diamond and Pearl more frequent as the years have gone on, but there's so many cool cards in Diamond and Pearl as a whole. Just this set alone has the Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard secret rares, with that Charizard art being kind of a reprint of the baseline Charizard, kind of in its reimagined form.
Yeah, that's
So
a very cool art. That's so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and then like just from like the other cards in the set, it has like a bunch of level X's. Like I know I was just looking at it earlier, like the Machamp level X and the Raichu level X. I'm a really big fan of level X's. I like kind of the hollow border. So yeah, it's kind of my reasoning behind it. It's just kind of an overlooked set, I think, for what it is. We all know that Diamond and Pearl is not printed a ton, so just something cool I have in my collection. I know one of my big collection goals is to have one of every pack art. So working my way to getting there. I'm all the way done with Diamond and Pearl, so that's exciting.
Nice. Oh, congratulations. That's awesome you're done with that. So that's a pack art for each, not just one.
I think I misspoke. Yeah, just one from each set. Now,
Oh, okay.
so I've gone back and forth with getting a pack art or every pack art for every set. So that's why I kind of went there. But at the minimum, I want one of every set.
Okay, right on, man. That's an awesome little challenge for yourself to have going. That's great to have collecting goals. As much as everyone talks about, selling and flipping and stuff, I want to collect more. It's fun collecting. I like ripping packs too. Like, so I like doing all that stuff.
You want me to open this? Is that what you're trying to say?
Hey, why not? Let's get those views in. All right, my item of the week is going to be the Southern Islands promos from 1999. These are the Japanese version. Very cool. I like it a lot. The Meryl's a cool card. I've opened a Mew one before. The cool little promo that they came out with back in '99. It made it over to the US too. The US cards pop a little bit more. They got a pretty cool reverse hollow. foil on them. Pretty cool looking. These have they're almost like digitized, the way I would like to say. It's kind of like the old hologram cards that used to like twist back and forth and it would make like the image move. That's kind of what these look like. But they're a fun little set. I think they're super interesting for what they are. I think they're definitely undervalued for what they are, considering all the other stuff that's come out. I mean, they're definitely cool. I've been a big fan of them. I've graded a bunch. Sold quite a few of them. I sell singles of them a lot. So it's just a fun little set. I wish they would do more things like that are like more obtainable. These specific ones each come with a postcard in them. So behind this, these are in like a little white and like clear plastic thing. And behind it, postcard. The postcards are really cool. Postcards are just the art of what's on the card, just spread out. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised. Like, I'm a huge Japanese collector and I don't even own those. I need to get a whole set of Southern Islands. It's just something that I've always kind of pushed down the line and never got to it.
Yeah, and they're relatively cheap. They're not. It's not an expensive item. You can get good deals on them. A lot of people on eBay that sell them in lots with a bunch of different. Because this one, I have Tropical Island. There's Rainbow Island. There's another one that has the Mew on it. So they sell them in the lots, and then you have the Mew one. Obviously, is the most expensive one, but for what they're worth and how cool they are and how they come packaged, like if they're taken care of well, like they're a nice little personal collection piece. So that's my my item of the week. Yeah, man, that's how I'm feeling about that. It's a pretty good set. So all right, so we are going to move on to our next segment for the Box Nostalgia podcast, and that is going to be tier listings.
Yeah,
you heard it, folks.
List.
That's it. We're going to do tier list of Sword and Shield alt arts. I'm going to pull that up right now. Boom. So here we go. So we're going to go through and list all of our favorite cards. Ponga's going to pick a card. He's going to bring it up on screen. And then we are going to talk about it for a little bit and then rank them as we go through them. We've already taken some of the less desirable ones out. No one wants to see Kunkel up here. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, we started the tier listing with a bang, right? I mean, I was putting this together before, and there was 65 alternate arts when you exclude like the Galarian Gallery from Crown Zenith, and then the promos from like the Evolution boxes and things like that, or the Charizard UPZ. So you could imagine ranking 65 different alternate arts could take quite a bit of time. So we got rid of a few of them. So I think the first one I'm going to nominate, just to kind of get it out of the way, because I think you kind of have to put it where it's going to be, is the Moonbryon. So, I guess I will say it's not my favorite alternate art, but for me, I have to put it in the S tier just because of what it is. I mean, it is the card of modern Pokemon, and I don't think anyone can really dispute that. I think it's going to kind of stand the test of time being that card, just because I know it kind of sounds silly now, but people are going to be nostalgic of this card in years to come.
Oh my God, so nostalgic of it.
Yeah.
It's just this is the Charizard chase for this generation of collectors, especially the kids. Like, they all know what a Moonbryon is. It has its own nickname, for God's sake. Like, it's the Moonbryon. So yeah, if you're putting in S tier, I will also agree and have it go in S tier just because of what it is. Although
I'm going to put it a little bit above S tier.
Oh, okay. It's just going to float up there. I will say, though, that I do like the Umbreon V art better.
We'll get there. We might be in agreement on that. So we'll get there.
I actually just picked one of them up not that long ago and sent it in for grading. It's a pretty card. Those Vs, I think the Vs are better than the V Maxes, to be honest. I think all of them, hands down. All right.
Now it's your turn.
All right. I want you to go to, let's go Celebi.
Ooh.
All right. Beautiful, beautiful card. Love the green and purple on it. I definitely think this card is severely underpriced and undervalued. You can get them for pretty cheap. I think the last time I looked, they're going for $20 something, $23. So it's cheap. It's definitely an A tier art for me. I do love it. Fusion Strike. We all know the memes with Fusion Strike, but it's a good art. I do really like the Celebi. It's just all around. I think most Celebi artworks are pretty fire. So I'm going to give it a solid A.
Ooh, okay. So we're starting off pretty high for me. So this is probably like a top 3 alt art for me. I think the way Celebi just kind of pops out of the background, but doesn't like pop out to where it makes it look fake or just like kind of slapped on top. The other thing I really like about this card is, as I mentioned before, I'm a really big Japanese collector. The way you get this card in Japan is really cool. So it's like a box promo.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so they're not super easy to get. So I will say I like it a little more in Japanese. I think it pops a little more, but to me, I'm going to have to put this in the S tier because of just the art itself. And then I think Celebi for me is kind of like an S tier Pokemon as well. So I'll kind of put this one in between A and S.
All right, right on. I like it. We are starting hot.
Yeah, two really good ones to start.
All right, let's put a stinker up there.
All right. Let's
click it. Why?
Yeah,
why? This is a horrible art. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where I almost feel like it just looks like a VMAX card. I know there's
the same too. All the Duraludons look exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's probably not the absolute worst alternate art, but for the ones we already took out to be this bad, I'm probably going to put it in the Y tier. I think they could have just done so much more. I think there's a few of them that we're going to get to later on, which I'm going to have the same kind of opinion on, where it just looks like a normal VMAX card with a little more.
Yeah, they could have made. I mean, it's supposed to be like a skyscraper right now, right? Like they missed so many things putting it in a city with other buildings. Like it could have been so cool, like a nighttime like picture, like or art where like it's just all lit up. Like it could have been such a cool art, and they just kind of phoned it in. They're like, oh, we got to put a Duraludon in here. Let's do it.
So, all right. So what do you have it in Y as well?
That's going. I wish there was something under Y, but there's not. So we'll just go to Y.
All right, that's the first Y. Like I said, I don't think that tier will be too populated because we got rid of some of the lower ones already, but that's the first one for now. All right. What do you want to nominate next?
Let's go to Aerodactyl.
Okay.
So I'm a big fan of this art. It's just, I feel like the way it's set up, you got the volcano in the back. It's very Jurassic Park looking. Like it's just a very cool art. Aerodactyl doesn't get enough love, I don't think, being what kind of Pokemon it is. Like he's kind of like Charizard's like little stepbrother in some regards. But I like the art. It's cool. It's he's perfectly placed on the art. It's got the other Pokemon in there, which I'm a big fan of having other Pokemon in the alt art. So I really like it. I know this was the rev poll that changed everything, couldn't pull it, and then it shot up the price and then tanked the price shortly thereafter. So I'm gonna give it a solid B. It's a good B art. PoNGa does not agree with B.
B is so. I mean, I think of it like in context of the background, right? So, you look at the background. I think that's like a volcano in the back, kind of smoking. And then if you just like look at the Pokemon that are in the art with it, it just kind of like brings you back to like the dinosaur times.
Yeah.
And I think everything kind of flows together perfectly. I mean, it's not my favorite alternate art. I would have probably put it in A, which is not that much above you, but yeah. So I guess we'll put it in between.
Put it in between. Look at us go.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. All right, look at that.
All right. So what do I want to do next? Let's do Single Strike Urshifu.
Oh boy.
So, this is the first Sword and Shield set with some alt arts. I remember when the set first came out, I didn't even know this was an alternate art. I thought this was just the VMAX. So kind of like the Duraludon, it kind of looks like a VMAX with just a little more. So for me, I think I'm just gonna rank it as a D.
A D. Yeah, I'll say why. I'm not a big fan of Urshifu. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of phoned home or phoned in like artworks that they got. So that's another one of them. I don't like. It just doesn't do it for. It's just a big Pokemon on a red background. It's really nothing cool. Like especially when we got like I think the next one we'll bring up. Let's just out of the same set, the Sleepy Tea, and just see like that's an art for you. Like that's what you're looking for. They took the time. It's not just a phoned in art. I feel really good about this one. This kind of this is the beginning of alt arts for Sword and Shield. So this card will go down as the first. It'll be the first that people remember. I really do like the artwork. I'm gonna give this a solid A. I just love how he's sleeping and drooling, and you got the Pokemon sitting behind a tree there, looking at him, eating his food. Like it's just so good. It's well done. It's a well done art. No one was expecting a sleepy Trinitar, and they pulled it off beautifully.
Yeah, that you put it perfect, right? No one expects a sleeping Tyranitar. I think when you picture Tyranitar, you think of it looking mean or in some sort of attacking pose, and just to see the art here of him sleeping. To your point, I think this is, when you think back to the beginning of Sword and Shield, like what the big chase was, you instantly go back to like the Rainbow Pikachu and how everyone wanted that. And then this card came out, and to me, this instantly took over that slot. Maybe not for everyone, but this card instantly took over that slot until something like Moonbreon came out. This is one that's really hard for me to rank. I'm kind of in between S and A, but I think I'm gonna just put it in the A tier for now.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great art. It's done well. I like the arts that kind of tell a little bit of story in them. Like he's sleeping. He obviously had a rough day and binged out a little bit. So
yeah,
we've all been there. So good. Go Sleepy T. All right, your pick.
All right, I'm gonna stay in the same set and go with Empoleon. So it's just not good. There's not
it's
much
just
to
not
say.
good.
I think Empoleon, Empoleon as a Pokemon, I actually kind of like it, but it just doesn't hit for me. And I think if you ranked this, when Chilling Reign came out or just when Battle Styles came out, I would have thought really highly of it. But just looking at the other alt arts that came out after this, I think this is just really lackluster. So it's kind of unfair, right? Because of the timing and all the great arts that come after this. But for me, I think I'm gonna rank it a C.
Okay. So it's definitely alt arts can be busy and good, and alt arts can be busy and bad. This is busy in a bad way. I feel like they just added Pokemon to it also, just to give it a little something extra. And I said I like the Pokemon in, just telling the story. There's really no story being told here. My man's just kind of like kicking his leg up there. Yeah, I'll go with a C as well. It's not a great art. It's not the worst art. It's not an Urshifu or a Duraludon, but it deserves to be a C.
Yeah, when I say not good, it's not good for what it could be. It's better than like the Urshifu, but it's just not good.
Let's see. All right. I want you to go with you know what? Let's go with the Espeon V.
Espeon V.
Down, right there. Boom. Beautiful card. I absolutely adore this card. I think this is my favorite Evolution alt art. I like it better than all the other ones. There's just something cool. I love the book setting. I love being in the library. It's like a lap cat in a library just hanging out. Like it's colored well. It's a fun drawing. This is definitely an S tier art for me.
Oh man, this one's tough for me. I'm kind of in between that S and A tier. I do like how the books are floating around.
Yeah,
it's just so fitting with Espeon. Even like the minor details, like I think on
the little Eevee in the front,
the little Eevee,
yeah,
which I don't think I ever really noticed that until now. But I don't think I could put it in the S tier because of the one I'm going to nominate after this being very similar,
Okay.
Pokemon wise. And so I think I'm going to put it in the A tier. And I
All right.
want you to say, please don't hate me.
Please don't. I'm not gonna hate you. You're good.
I hate you for Celebi, so now you could hate me for SB.
Oh, Celebi's great art. It's just not the S tier.
Okay, so, and I will say, the way we do this, putting it in between tiers, it does make it a little messier than if you just had it in a single tier, but I think it gets more of our opinion across where,
Oh
hey,
yeah,
if we both put it in S
absolutely.
tier, yeah.
Yeah, it gives a
Okay,
little bit more.
so yeah, I think I'm gonna have to
Ooh.
go with the Espeon VMAX. So kind of on the same Pokemon here. I think this is like one of my favorite arts in Pokemon's history. Um,
Okay.
I really
Hot
fell in
take.
love. Yeah, I really fell in love with this card when the EV Heroes gym box came out in Japan. Obviously, those boxes went crazy when
Yeah,
they first came
bananas,
out,
dude.
and now they're kind of out of hand. And that's the only way you could get this card in Japanese.
So you love
I
the
just
Japanese rarity
Yeah,
chase,
I'm
right?
factoring in like the Japanese into it,
Yeah.
not just the English version of it. But I mean, it's sleeping on a like a house or a building, and it's just I don't know, something about it just kind of pops. And
Is that the same town that the Umbreon's in?
oh, it
I'm
might be just like
I'm kind of just
night.
noticing, yeah, like it's very like that old. It's probably like the library he's sleeping in too.
Yeah, I mean, it
So,
might be.
so you're saying this is S tier art for you,
This
huh?
is definitely S tier for me.
See, I'm gonna have to disagree. I like it. It's a good art. And like if we were really ranking Moonbreon, I wouldn't put him in the S tier. He's only there because of what he did. Like I think the VMAX cards are kind of phoned in a little bit with the alt arts for the evolutions. So, oh, you're gonna hate me, PoNGa. This is like a solid B art.
Oh no, I don't know if I can accept this.
It's like a solid B art, man. I'll put
I
it in
don't
a
even
so
I
we
don't
can just
even know
stick
if I
that in
can handle
A.
this.
You're gonna have to handle it. It's terrible. It's not terrible. The art's not terrible, but the art is definitely not S tier art.
Oh
I'm
man,
sorry, my man.
I might be done. The first episode one might be the last episode. That hurts.
Hey, you didn't become my podcast partner because I'm bootlegger.
I'm
That's
I don't know if I yeah. Okay, let's next one.
oh man, let's go Gengar.
Gengar.
I love the art. Think it's great. It's a fun one. Um, the VMAX Gengar is probably one of the cooler VMAX Pokemon. Doesn't just gets massive. Like I love it. It's a great art. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and give that a solid A. It's a
Man,
solid.
you just give everything an A.
We're picking only good arts. We pick some
Yeah, I
turds.
know. Maybe I could persuade you to put it in S. So when you factor in the Japanese way of getting it, you get it from the decks. So I'm kind of I don't know
Fun.
if you could tell, but I'm kind of a fan of the alt arts that you could get outside of like a booster pack.
Yeah.
So they have like in Japan, they have the Inteleon and the Gengar decks where it's randomly seeded. I think it's like 1 in 50 decks or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember. I haven't looked at that in a while. But then I actually have it behind me up here. It's the black box right here. They have like the double deck box that this card's in as well. So um, for me, it's an S because I love Gengar, and I
Okay.
when I look at this art, it just like reminds me of that like Gengar sleeping bag thing. Have you seen that? The one that came out in Japan?
No.
Um, yeah, so there's like a Gengar sleeping bag where you lay in the Gengar's mouth, but
Oh, that's great.
um, yeah. So
All
you
right.
had it at A, I had it
I
in
had an S,
S.
so it's gonna go in the middle. We just keep popping back and forth. Look at this. Yeah, it's a great card. I need to learn a little bit more, I guess, about the Japanese promos and how they're released over there because it does seem like a lot of those cards are not like if you can't just get them in packs and you have to get them from promo, it's definitely a little bit, more of a chase to get them. And that definitely would add for tier list wise value to them for sure.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to do, let's see. Oh, I don't want to do another S. I'm going to do kind of on the same area as that Gengar. So this Inteleon in Japan had the same type of release where it was in that deck. I know a lot of people probably don't like this one. I think it's kind of like a mid-tier alt art. I've actually been looking at grading this in a PSA 10 just to have, because I think this is one of those ones that isn't very much appreciated now, but I think it can down the road. I think, the dark background just kind of looks nice. I'm probably going to put this in B.
B tier?
Yeah.
So I really haven't looked at this card this much. This is the first time I'm actually really getting a big deep look into it. I don't know. I guess I would say it's not busy. You know what I mean? He's not overpowering the art box. I'd give it a solid B. That's a solid B art.
Yeah, I think it's just like a mid-tier.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's not great. I'm not going out of my way to pick one up, but I wouldn't knock anyone for having it. Let's go with. Oh man. Let's go with Leafeon VMAX.
This is a tough one.
This is a tough one too. I like the art, but I also don't like the art. I don't know. They could have done so many other things and put this poor guy in the middle of a field, kicking around hay bales. It's Leafeon. Like I said, even the Leafeon V art is beautiful. This one just doesn't do it for me. This is like a C tier for me. This is not a great art. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. They missed the mark with Leafeon. They could have put him in some pretty this is one that needed other Pokemon. He needed to be in a forest or something, walking around and have other Pokemon all over the place. But they dropped the ball. So I'm not a big fan of it. Yeah,
this is one of those ones where some days I wake up and if I see it, I'm like, wow, that's just a great card. And other days I kind of feel like I hate it at the same time because of kind of what you said, where there's not Pokemon surrounding him or anything, kind of like the other ones. And I think Leafeon's it's between Leafeon and Glaceon, probably the worst evolution in my opinion, or my least favorite, I should say. I think they're all great Pokemon, but yeah, I think it's kind of just one of those mid-tier ones, and I'm gonna put it at a B. So you said what, C?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll put it in between those.
How many we rank so far? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I would do a couple more, and then we'll move on. So if there's any Pokemon that you really want to get in there.
All right, well, I have to do Lugia.
Yeah.
So Lugia is my favorite Pokemon. Now, I know when this first got leaked, I don't think people were the biggest fan of it, and
people were hating on it. They hate that. They were so oh, we're just going to stare at Lugia's butt. This card is fire, dude.
Yeah, when you look at blown up like this, I mean, just
with lightning in the back.
Yeah,
it's so cool. The fisherman, Dan's on his boat here, not having a great time.
Yeah, I'm kind of biased because of how much I love Lugia. I just find it hard. I mean, I think they could have done some better things with it, if it were a Pokemon 2000 movie inspiration with the legendary birds or something. Something like that in the background, that could have been really cool. But I mean, for me, I have to put it in S just because it's Lugia. So I'm just gonna leave it there.
I concur. I think it's an S tier art. Awesome. I pulled one of these when we were but when Pokemon Center, not Pokemon Center, GameStop released the build and battles for 1999 by accident. People were buying them up. I got so many of them. I was I'm just gonna rip until I pull Lugia. And I think 20 packs in, I pulled a Lugia, so I ended up selling the rest of Collecticon. and then I graded the Lugia. It was very off center though, so I only got a 9, but still a beautiful card. I was happy to pull it. It was cool holding it in my hand. I love like the green hues and the back behind Lugia are pretty cool. The blue hues and the lightning. So it's a pretty cool art for me. I'm a big fan of it.
All right, let's speed through a couple that we could
All right.
probably get through. Like, do you have any thoughts on this Urshifu? Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's probably better than the single strike Urshifu, but let's be honest, it's not very good. This one's probably a little better.
That's a cooler one.
Yeah, I'd probably still put this as like a D because like I don't care about Urshifu.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about that Pokemon at all.
Yeah.
They need to do. Okay. They need to work on, making Pokemon a little bit more unique and cool than what they've been doing. Oh, this is a hot card.
Yeah, I have to get through it. We have to at least get through the big ones if we're not going to do them all.
Okay, yeah, because there's a lot of them here. Oh man, there's so many good cards. Like
we're gonna. You said let's do a couple more. Let's get through at least a couple of the big ones, right?
All right.
So
we'll go bangers. So the Rayquaza,
we could take a little extra time on the bangers and then kind of breeze through the lesser ones.
So you're picking this one. So what do you feel in the? Oh, I guess I could start. This is gonna be a better art and a better card 20 years from now than the Moonbreon.
Ooh, hot take.
Same set. I love this the Rayquaza art. Flying over the forest. It's a better art than the Moonbreon. Same set. I know that this was the chase at the beginning, and then the Moonbreon went crazy. I know that Rattle opened like 3,500 packs and still never pulled the Rayquaza when he was hunting for the Moonbreon. So the rarity is still there. I love it. It's an S tier art for me. It's great art.
I don't have much to add to it. I like this personally better than the Moonbreon as well. I think like if I were opening Evolving Skies, that this would be my chase. Like you said, when it first came out, this was the chase card. I mean, obviously people wanted the Moonbreon, but this card was more expensive for a very brief amount of time. Rayquaza is an awesome Pokemon. And there's not much else to be said.
Nope. Rightfully deserves to be S tier.
Yeah, so far we have Moonbreon, Lugia, and Rayquaza at S tier.
At S tier, yeah. Let's go Giratina.
Ooh.
I love this card too. I think this is an S tier artwork. I know Walrus hates it. No, Walrus loves it. Who hates it?
Yeah, Walrus loves it.
Walrus loves it. I know he graded a bunch of them. Someone hates it, saying they can't see anything that's going on because it's too busy. But this is one of those busy is good, because Giratina is, he's the void Pokemon or the null Pokemon or whatever. It's an awesome art. Big fan of Giratina. I think it's an S art tier.
Okay, so I think when I was on, I don't know if it was PokeFlips or something, and I said I didn't like this card. And so when I said that, Walrus kind of freaked out in the chat. Shout out to Walrus. But I kind of I took some time to look at this and just kind of take in what's going on. And I think what I used to say was, yes, it has a lot going on, and I couldn't really tell what was going on. Like, what's the point? But then I really looked at it and I kind of changed my opinion on it. I think I'm going to have to put it in S tier. I changed up.
I love it.
You could go back, and I think it's just like Lost Origin as a whole. I just love that set so much. I think it's like a top 3 set for me, like mainline Sword Shield sets. It just like fits in that set perfectly too. Like when people always talk about English sets don't have like the greatest set identity. I think this card just fits Lost Origin.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to have to put it in an S.
Yeah,
I changed up. Everyone could call me out in the comments. I changed up.
That's fine. Listen, you grow every day, man. Sometimes when you say silly things about cards that aren't true, you got to eat it a little bit.
Yeah.
This unknown card's hot too. I like it. Not S tier art, but it's a great art.
This might be the hottest take of them all. This is probably my favorite alternate art.
Wow, dude, it's not a bad, it's a cool art. I love the background setting. I love how it's more cartoony. the unknowns, all the ancient stuff. It's just so cool. I'd say I'd probably give it a B art wise. Sorry, dude, you're gonna say A or S tier or S plus. I don't know what to say. It's a good art. It's not better than the Aerodactyl though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I say, I guess when I say like my favorite alternate art, I'm exaggerating a little bit. Gen 2 is like my favorite generation. Playing those games growing up, having the 16 badges. One thing that always stands out from that game is just like the unknowns. Because when you're a kid, like they're unknown, right? Like you don't know much about them and they're so mysterious. And I just love the art. Like I think the sky with the tree line in the background just kind of pop. And I also like how the unknowns are kind of coming out of the card at you. Yeah, I'm still gonna have to go with S. So we'll default it to A.
A.
And
Okay.
all I'll say is if you haven't had that card in hand, get it in hand.
That's the
It
difference.
is
That's the
gorgeous.
difference maker.
It is gorgeous. All right. I think we have to put Charizard up there.
Okay.
I want to hear your thoughts on Charizard first, and then I'll go.
This art's all right. I'm not the biggest fan of this one. I like when he's done the other one where he's sleeping with his tail curled. I like that one more. It's another Charizard. The Venusaur in the back is cool. He's doing Vine Whip. I think it's awesome. I'm gonna have to say this is like a C tier card for me. They could have done a lot more. Like I like the Mewtwo fighting the Charizard better.
Yeah, you might get some hate for putting it in C tier.
That's all right. People can hate it. This one's not as good. It doesn't have the Diglett with the eyes like the other Charizard fighting another Pokemon. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They could have done a lot more with it. I think it's a mid-tier art. It's just not the best art.
Yeah, I think if we ranked this like when it first came out, I feel like I would have put it in S tier just because like Charizard battling Venusaur. I think like we've seen more arts like that, and we see it so much more often, like towards the end of Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Specifically like in Crown Zenith and stuff, where like you have like the Mewtwo and all that kind of stuff of like battling arts. I love Brilliant Stars. It's probably my second favorite alternate art in Brilliant Stars. I'm gonna probably put it in like probably the A tier.
Okay, so it's a B ranking. It's not a bad showing from Charizard. Just too many Charizards, man. It's too like they really beat that horse to death and then beat it again and then beat it again. Like they need to stop. Like there doesn't need to be a Charizard set every like block. It doesn't need to happen. Like Obsidian Flames came out. That's great. Like that was the Charizard block. But like, all right, Shining Treasure EX, Charizard, Paldean Fates, Charizard, like all the polls, all the hits of Charizard. There's 1,000 other Pokemon. Like, let's do something cool. I know Green Shiz has been waiting for a Diglett Altart since, Battle Style. So let's get the man his ground glizzy. Let's get it going. Like, they can do so many cool things. Like, I could think of 1,000 arts that look better than the Charizard, but just Diglett alone doing cool stuff. So, like, let's just move on from Charizard. Let's do something. Someone needs to talk to someone at Pokemon and be like, bro, like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Like, he should come out for, like, anniversary stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
he's like a bigger mascot for Pokemon than Pikachu is on the cards. Pikachu doesn't get anything. He gets a baby shiny. They and the one rainbow rare VMAX. I'm going on a tangent right now.
I love it. Keep going.
I'm tired of Charizard, man. Like just tired of seeing him. Like it's a great Pokemon. Yeah, 25 years ago. Like let's get something else going here, please, for the love of God.
Yeah, I think this card would have been more liked if the Charizard UPC promos never came out. I mean, that just adds like 3 more alternate art Charizards that...
Yeah.
I mean, you have 4 of them. I mean, they're not really... Charizard doesn't need that many. Now, to look on the other side of what you're saying, people say they're sick of Charizard, but then if Charizard or Kanto Pokemon didn't come out in sets for an extended period of time, I think there'd be a lot of people that are also very upset about that.
Oh,
so
100%.
They know Charizard sells, and so they're just going to keep doing it. So
that's why they
if you hate Charizard that much, don't buy Charizard.
Oh, go to the Dragonair.
Ooh.
Or Dragonite. The Dragonite, I'm sorry.
Where's Dragonite?
Down.
Oh,
One
there it
more
is.
right there. Boom. That's a great one too. Love the fog in the back. This is S tier for me.
Oh
I
man,
love it.
put in the pressure. I feel like I'm ranking so many of these high. We got to pick a couple lower tier ones so people don't just think we take the easy road out.
I'll try not to.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching the leaks when EV Heroes was coming out, or what around like the time of Evolving Skies coming out, not EV Heroes, but this was like probably my second favorite card in the set. I know you have like Moonbreon and Rayquaza. I like the Rayquaza V, which we'll probably touch on next because I'm mentioning it, but this was definitely a top one for me. I think Dragonite's like definitely a top 5 Pokemon for me. Maybe even top 3. And so, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you and put it in S tier.
Hot. It's a great card.
Yeah,
I just love the contrast. Like this is one where the gray background and with the Pokemon on the front is done extremely well. It makes him pop. He's yawning. It's a good card.
for sure.
Let's get through like 2 more of these, and then we'll. I think we're gonna move on.
All right.
I know this is we could do this for another 2 hours if we wanted to and really
Yeah,
pick
we
it
kind of.
apart.
I feel like so you pick your final one and I'll pick my final one.
All right. I feel like the one I'm gonna pick is gonna be awesome. So I'm gonna pick the Umbreon V.
Okay. There's a couple that I feel like we have to rank, but
All right. Well, maybe we'll do more than just 2. But this I love this art. You got the Pokemon in the front, all looking at Umbreon. The moon's still there. Like this is a better Umbreon than the other one. Like I love the V's so much more than the V Maxes. It's a S tier. I like how he's just standing there, red eyes, got the pincer, standing there, just see his like horn. Like it's just very cool. Like I like it. It's a great art. Standing on the brick wall, he's in the alley. I'm assuming it's all the same city that all these Pokemon are in. So it's great. Like S tier art. And it's great. It's beautiful in person too. Like you said, the unknown was beautiful. This is a pretty card in person.
yeah, you said it all. I don't think I need to say anything else. We need to put a couple low tier ones. I'm gonna put both Mews up here. This
Okay.
Mew, this Mew VMAX. It's just a VMAX card with like a couple extra things blended in.
That's it.
It is terrible. I'm putting D. What do you have it at?
You could I would almost say because it's Mew and they did such a poor job, why?
I kind of like it, but I'm gonna keep it at D, but we're gonna put in between Y and D, and I think that's what we could leave it at.
Yeah,
I think this Mew V is better than the V
it's
Max.
better. Yeah, this is where like the V's are better than the V Max. Like you got the other Pokemon in there.
It's
But
still
it's
not
very
good.
busy. Yeah, this is busy in a bad way.
Like
So
what's happening? Like there's Pokemon in the background. It looks like they're kind of like flying or something, but
it's his posse, dude. They're all surrounded. It's a security detail. I'd give this one a C.
I think I'm about C as well.
Mew's a great Pokemon, but they really don't do too many super cool things with them anymore. Like I feel like all the vintage stuff is the super cool Mew Pokemon cards, and anymore you just don't get them. That Dialga, no, I love this card. I love the coloring in the card. It's not S tier, but I'd say probably go B.
Yeah, I think it's B as well.
B for the art. And then the Palkia, I actually really like the Palkia, the counterpart to this card. This one's cool. I like it. I like that I don't even know what you call the style of art that is, but it's like where things are upside down but they're not. Like I like it. It's another solid B art for me. He's really small in the center of the art, but it's just a cool concept.
Yeah, the surroundings around Palkia just kind of make up for him just kind of standing there doing nothing. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's kind of like a mid-tier alt art, and I'd probably put it at B as well.
Right on.
Is there any other ones that you for sure want to rank before we move on? I just think like you have Arceus, you have the legendary birds, you have Blaziken.
I know you want to touch that Blaziken. Go on.
Oh man,
get it up. Get it up there. Yeah, go on. Say S tier for the Blaziken. Say it. Say it to the world,
like,
PoNGa.
It just like I pulled this card, and so maybe that's why I'm biased, but in person, it just pops. And I think it's probably because of all the colors in the background, Blaziken being red, the background having the green, yellow, blue, the red towards the top, and then the building there. It just, I don't know what it is. It just kind of pops. And I think it's just the color contrasting. And I'm a person that likes a lot of color. So that's probably why I like it so much. And I have to put it in S tier.
Damn.
I have to.
An S tier Blaziken.
I
What has
have
this world
to.
come to? I'm gonna say it's a solid B art. I know, PoNGa. I know. What can I do? It's a solid B. It's good. I'm sure if I saw it in person, I might have another a different take on it, but I'm pretty sure that that's just the B.
All right. I mean, so there's like one more. We have to rank this one, right? This is S. Can we just agree on that?
That this is an ass card? Yeah.
No, this is an S card.
Oh, it's a good card. I like the art. It's Rayquaza. He's doing Rayquaza things. It's one of the ones with the trainers in it too. I like the trainer cards where the trainers are actually in there with the Pokemon. I don't know if I would say S tier. I would go A on it.
Ooh,
I would even go B.
fair.
To be honest, the card, it's a B art for me. It's not an S tier art for me. I'd say B. So we can put it in A.
Not everyone could be right. It's okay.
Yeah. No, listen. Broken
Is
clocks.
there any
right
other
twice a
final
day.
ones you want to?
Um,
Any ones you feel strongly either way before we move on? So I mean, we can't rank them all. We're doing our best to kind of call out ones that stand out to us either way. We're trying to keep this a little shorter compared to other podcasts, so we don't necessarily want to go through every single one. And of course, for our first episode, we picked probably
the longest
the tier
list.
list. The longest tier list. I'll just I'm not going to put them on screen, but just a couple that I really like. I love the Zeraora. This one, I think that's truly a great art. I love Greedent. Greedent's a great card. And for whatever reason, I really like Beedrill as well.
I like the Beedrill. Can you click the Machamp, please?
Yeah.
I love this card. This is an S tier art for me. This is S tier. I would put this S tier. I love it. I love what's going on in it. Machamp's cool. And that's a great art. That's one of the better ones for sure.
Yeah. We're not gonna we're gonna end it there. Now I'm gonna do a couple. Like I said, I just want to point out I really like the Arceus art just because of the Legends Arceus game, and I think it fits with that theme a lot with the region behind him. I really like the Golurk art, and for whatever reason, the Sylveon and Eevee Heroes, there's two different print runs, and there's one print run that is way more shiny than the other one, and it just pops. Okay. So I guess if we're looking at kind of our tier list here, just kind of recapping it, we have Moonbreon, Lugia, Rayquaza, Giratina, Dragonite, Umbreon V, and then Machamp all in S tier, with Celebi, Espeon V, and Gengar kind of in between the S and A tier. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like how we listed them. They're good. I like that we got a couple Ys down there. Again, that Duraludon might be the most disappointing. I think the Kunkeldur is a better art than that. And that's
at least the Kunkeldur has a theme with.
Yeah, there's something on. This is just a big tall building in the middle of nothing. So it doesn't make much sense for me. I'm gonna pull this down.
So I will say in the comments below, if you want us to rank anything or you have your own opinions on what we ranked here, but please leave your comments below. Give us some topics to rank and roast us below on the cards we like or dislike that you might like.
Yeah, absolutely. Please comment below. Also take the time to say like and subscribe, hit the bell. This is episode 1 of a hopefully very long podcast journey for the both of us. So please, your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone for watching. But we are going to continue moving on. Our next segment is beer pong. So in this segment, it's kind of like a back and forth between PoNGa and I. I'll take one side of something and he'll take the other side of something, and we'll argue either why we're for or why we're against what we're arguing for, and then there's a rebuttal from the other person, and then and then we'll move on.
Yeah,
So
so don't be too harsh on us. So some of the topics we're going to discuss in this episode and then moving forward, we don't necessarily disagree with the other person's opinion. I think it's more of like a just back and forth. We're each going to pick a side and kind of go from there, and not necessarily agree with the side that we're going to argue.
all right. So for our beer pong topic today, we're going to go Microsoft versus Sony. This isn't just a Pokemon podcast. This is also a video game podcast. I had a lot of fun as a kid playing video games, growing up through the 90s and the 2000s and high school and the college years and whatnot. Like, that's really when video gaming for us like evolved and changed. You get live services coming on. You could play against each other from everywhere. Like, the cable guy had it right. There's a scene in there where he's talking about playing Mortal Kombat with your friends in Vietnam. Like, you can actually do that now. And that all happened, when we were growing up. So I think for us to get beer pong started, Microsoft versus Sony is great. I think that PoNGa drew Microsoft and I drew Sony. So we'll let PoNGa go first. Why is Microsoft a better company than Sony, video game wise?
Yeah, I mean, when you think of Microsoft, you just go to Xbox. And I think Xbox probably isn't as iconic as it used to be, but when you think of like the original Xbox, the Xbox 360, in my opinion, I think Xbox 360 is like, if you were to tier rank consoles in general, I think it's probably an S tier. Like it is one of the best consoles ever made, in my opinion. Yeah, and when you think of like iconic franchises of video games, especially like back in the day, obviously Box Nostalgia Podcast, so getting a little nostalgic looking back and not necessarily the exclusives we have today. But like racing games like Forza is super iconic to me. I love racing games. Forzas were always really good. A more like realistic type racing game. And then like shooters, right? Like I love shooters. I love games like Call of Duty. And obviously you have the most iconic exclusive title, I think, in Halo.
Killer
I know,
baby.
yeah, I know we just started playing Halo together, so I'm super excited to do that. But
yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, even like the original Halo you'd play on PC and like have the custom maps, and Halo 2, Halo 3 with your friends or siblings, playing split screens, 2v2s, all that kind of stuff. Halo's kind of fallen off a little bit to this day, but I think it just kind of stands the test of time. And then when you keep going on, Gears of War was a super iconic franchise back in the day as well. That third person shooter. So I think like my first argument is just really the upper tier of exclusive Xbox has or Microsoft has is just great.
All right. So Sony was, like the original horse pulling the first cart, other than like when it comes to CD based games and 3D graphic based games. I remember having my original PlayStation. It was so cool. Like, I thought I was so cool having a PlayStation, playing games like Final Fantasy, games like the original Grand Theft Autos that came out, the top downs. Dark Cloud was another game that was pretty cool. Like I think I traded my N64 into GameStop for a PlayStation. I know, right? What an idiot back in the day. But I'm pretty sure I did it for an original PlayStation. I had so much fun. Like you said, the Gran Turismo games, talking about racing games and killer apps for companies. Like Gran Turismo was wild. That game was so cool. It was so fun playing that game. Just everything you can do in it. And then you get into like, PlayStation 2 was like that was the big to do for everyone. I had a PlayStation 2. I can still remember pressing the button and hearing it for the first time. It was like a rocket ship taking off, and the screen came on. It was just so awesome. So many hours played of like Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City. I played endless hours of those games. The apps, the IPs that Sony have are just insane too. Ratchet and Clank, Little Big World. Man, there's this Killzone, Uncharted, Tomb Raider. I can keep going. They had so many things for so long. Microsoft, though, unfortunately, in my argument for right now, I think I felt like unseated Sony with the Xbox 360. I had a PlayStation 3 also, another great system. Played Killzone 3, endless hours on there. So many fun games just to play. Like their online service lacked for years, but it's come back.
It lacked. It was down for like a month or two or whatever.
Yeah.
You remember that? When I think it was like during PS3's lifespan, you couldn't play online for like a month or two. It was just down.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's never happened. So Sony used to have like the free online service, and I'm glad you brought that up because it's just like another check mark for me. Microsoft's online service does not go down for months at a time. Now, back then, Sony offered free online, right? You didn't have to pay monthly fee. And they actually started charging after that issue because it just gave them a budget to have like the cybersecurity in place so people couldn't take down the online service. And I remember back then, I think they actually even gave out free games to people because they couldn't play online and couldn't use their service. So, and I, on my side of things with Microsoft, I think like the most underrated part, and maybe it's just underrated from what I see, Xbox Game Pass is just such a great value if you play a bunch of games and love a variety of games. And I know Sony, I think just recently, and I don't have
they
like
have something similar.
Yeah, I think they just came out with something, but like Xbox Game Pass for years now have even like had like Banjo-Kazooie, like a iconic N64 title, and all these different games that are, Xbox 360, Xbox titles. They have, back in the day, I'm a huge MLB The Show player, and it was a Sony exclusive. Now it's on Xbox. That's a day one offer on Game Pass that you get with it. And I think moving forward, like I think Call of Duties are going to be a day one offering as well. It's just such a great value when it comes to Xbox Game Pass. So I think that's a little bit of a check mark for Microsoft.
It's definitely a check mark for you. I remember the free service, the free online service they had. I played SOCOM on that. SOCOM was another great game. Sony had Microsoft beat definitely with IPs.
I think like
God of War.
I think Sony has like a larger library of exclusives that are good. It's just like that, like S tier, those like Halos and all those like Halo, Gears of War, like kind of beat those middle tier ones out for me at least.
Halo used to be awesome. Like really awesome, but
like any exclusive list, like imagine growing up if you didn't have Xbox and you never played Halo. Like how much different, like your life would just be completely different.
Dude, I have so many hours sitting in my room with my feet up on my dresser, listening to System of a Down, playing Halo 2 in high school. I would get home from football practice and just sit and play for hours with my couple buddies till like 2 a.m. and then get up and do it all over again. I loved Halo 2.
Yeah.
But
my final point, and it's just like you can't.
And I'm just giving you points because really I like Microsoft way more than I like Sony.
But
Sony.
Like I think it's fair, right? Like Sony just has like a large,
a huge list. Library. Like, 100%.
I mean, like imagine playing like Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation, like the original PlayStation. Like
definitely play Ooga Booga.
Yeah, Ooga Booga. I still,
running away from those, that used to give me such anxiety with the freaking boulders coming behind you. God.
Yeah. Okay. The best point, and I think the thing that differentiates the most, I think Xbox has the best video game controller, probably outside of GameCube. I love the GameCube controller, but like the Xbox 360, Xbox One controller, it just is the most comfortable controller. It fits in your hand. Your hands don't cramp. I think like the PlayStation 1 controller was a little too small.
It only took them 3 years to fix it.
Yeah, and then dude, like PS2 improved it. But like one thing that I could never get over was like the joysticks being
in the same
even
spot
with each other. And like it's very rare that your thumbs are going to hit each other, but it does happen from time to time, especially if you're like kind of panicking a little bit. I just like the offsetting of like the Xbox controller and something with like the triggers on Xbox. It would just like seemed more seamless, like between like the bumpers and the triggers.
It's a better shooter controller for sure.
Yeah, Yeah, for sure.
100%. Like Street Fighter and stuff, I think PlayStation controller is a little bit better for it. Just how the layout. Yeah, I know games like God of War and stuff. I lost this argument. I'm gonna go. I'm a beaten dog here.
So
As much as I
it's
liked,
what you like better, right? Like,
yeah.
you like multiplayer games. I think Xbox has the better exclusives, or at least back in the day had the better exclusives.
Well, even
I
now,
think
like
if
you
you
like
really like
single
single
player games,
player,
yeah.
yeah, single player games, I think Sony kind of takes that. I mean,
And it's upsetting. Like it took so long just to even get like God of War to come out on the PC to be able to play God of War. This is gonna tie. I'm gonna tie all of this conversation right now into our next subject.
wait. One more point on your side. Sony or PlayStation has the Spider-Man series now, which are great games, and I'm really upset that I can't play them.
They're fun games. Yeah, Sony's got such a stranglehold on that Spider-Man IP, man. They refuse to give it up. Like they control everything Spider-Man. I played that game. I think someone told me it was a love letter to Spider-Man the first time it was explained to me. And after playing it, I can say it definitely was. Fun game. The God of War exclusives, super fun nowadays. It kind of makes you want to get a PlayStation, like you said. I've been in the single player games a little bit more as I've gotten older. So take that for what it's worth. Definitely a big fan, but I guess we're going to go point Microsoft here. I did not argue very well for Sony. It's hard. I definitely wish I had been able to argue for Microsoft there, but all right. So that's our first beer pong. Yeah, we're going to move on to the next subject, and that is going to be hot takes. Every week, PoNGa and I will issue a hot take. This week I have two because I have something I need to get off my chest. But yeah, we go over it. We go on, PoNGa.
No, I was gonna say maybe I go first if you have a tangent coming.
Oh
I
yeah,
can
you
kind
go
of
first.
get rid
I
of
have a tangent.
Yeah,
This
let me get
so.
mine out of the way. So my hot take for the week, and I don't even think of it as that big of a hot take, but I think some people might think of it. And it's gonna be Pokemon related. So my hot take is gonna be that Pokemon Go is actually a very solid set.
Kunkelder.
Now, yeah. So I guess
Kunkelder.
so. Yeah, Conkeldurr. But so I was a huge Pokemon Go player, and I understand that in the context and all the sets that came out around it, it's just not as good. But just like from a set perspective, and actually before this, I rewatched it, but that initial Pokemon Go trailer where everyone's running into the city, fighting Mewtwo, that Mewtwo alt art, I think could have probably been a little better, but it's just iconic to me because of that scene. When that Pokemon Go was officially announced, like that just was a life changer for me. I still to this day play Pokemon Go, and it's what is it going on 8 years or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's some longevity for a mobile game. I tell you what.
Yeah, and I think they probably could have had a couple more alt arts, but just like the normal arts. I mean, I really like the Radiant cards, and I think the products surrounding just the set. I like the team boxes, like the Instinct, Valor, and Mystic boxes. I think it's got a cool theme to it and kind of incorporates that into it. And then the Radiant EV box is a really cool box as well. And then just like the regular holos, right? Like it has Charizard, it has Moltres and all those type of big name Pokemon. And then like they incorporated Melmetal into the set, which isn't anyone's favorite Pokemon, but that was a very big release in Pokemon Go. Where you actually had to connect Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, I think, to get an interaction with that in the game. And then it actually took like 400 candy in Pokemon Go to actually evolve it. So it took quite a while. But yeah, I just think it's not an S tier set. It's probably like somewhere around like B or C, but it's not like an F or on our scale, a Y set.
Yeah, I'm just confused on why it came out during Sword and Shield and not why wasn't there a Pokemon Go set? 2016? That was Sun and Moon.
No, that was so. Evolutions came out at the end of 2016, so that was XY.
Oh, XY. Okay, so yeah, they waited years. I mean, I guess they were trying to. I mean, but you'd have to think that these sets are planned well in advance of anything crazy happening in like the collector's sphere. So like a Pokemon Go set must have been like in the works for a little while. I mean, they got to drew all the arts, they got to do all the text, all that stuff. So I'm just
Yeah, when you take
curious.
it out of like the context of when it was released, like it was released in the middle of all these
The
different
crazy.
alternate art
Yeah.
and Sword and Shield, but like just as a set by itself, I think it gets way too much hate.
PoNGa likes himself some
Mhm.
Pokemon Go, everyone.
I don't know if I
Um,
like it. I just think it's better than
what everyone
terrible.
says. Yeah. I have a couple Japanese Pokemon Go boxes. You can get them off Pokemon Center Japan for a while. You could get them.
Another set I like a lot better in Japanese for sure because it actually includes the Eevee in the set.
Okay. Right on. All right. My hot take, and we just talked about Microsoft and Sony, is that consoles are obsolete. I've been thinking about this one for the past couple days. I don't see the need for consoles anymore. I know PoNGa, we talked about it the other night. You're saying like, exclusives are not so exclusive anymore. They're starting to trickle out on other other systems. I just don't see the need for a PlayStation, an Xbox, a Switch, maybe the Switch, or like Nintendo, because they're like a niche little.
It's in its own category.
It's its own
Nintendo's like its
category,
own
but
thing,
like
yeah.
Microsoft and Sony, like we all watched Sega die. They lost, Dreamcast. What a shame that was. But most of this generation, with all the YouTube streaming and Twitch gameplay and everything, most people have computers now, PCs that are able to run these games because you need to have all that stuff to even stream. Like I said, God of War came out. It's on. I could buy it on stream now and play it off of stream. I just don't see the need. Call of Duty is not exclusive. Halo's an exclusive, obviously, but I can play it on my PC. Like everything can be played on PC now. It's ridiculous. Like you can play Sony games on your PC. If you download that what you were just talking about, like kind of their Game Pass, you can play those games. I just don't see the need, especially with like how technology is moving and how graphics cards are moving. Like you buy a system and within a year it's already outdated. But then they try and pump games into it for 8 years, and you have to buy a system that's now they're starting to get close to where you can buy a PC for these prices. So I just think consoles are obsolete. I don't think they're needed anymore, and that's how I feel about it. Console wars, they lasted, they killed each other. PC is king, baby, and that's where I'm standing. I'm planting my flag in that hill.
Yeah, I'll just add. I mean, I'll add a little bit to it, right? So like. I totally agree. Like I should have a gaming PC. It just makes no sense to still like I have my Xbox Series X right next to me. The one thing I really like about the Xbox Series X is sports games. I mean, like I play like Ultimate Team modes, and like Ultimate Team modes aren't played on PC. Like the market where you buy and sell cards isn't populated with a lot of there's just not a lot of players, and so like the population on the auction block and all that kind of stuff isn't high. But then like MLB The Show, like I don't think you could play it on PC, and that's like one of my highest played games. So that's like the sole reason why I got a Series X. Like like I only bought a PS4 when it was only on PlayStation to play that game, and then now it's my most played game on my Xbox, and probably doesn't come off playing that besides a few other titles. So there are some reasons I think to still have a console if you play those types of games, but for basically anything else, you might as well just have a PC.
Yeah, I mean, any game you play now, Apex Legends, take that as an example. You play Apex Legends. When you look to the left of the screen and you see who your teammates are, most of the times you're going to see a PC next to that, and PC and controller. Like you're already playing against PC players. They already have the advantage. Everyone just needs to get out of the Stone Age, get off the consoles, and get on a PC.
Well, I will also say one more thing. And I know this is your hot take, but I just had to add it. So I'm a big like competitive Call of Duty guy. I've been watching professional Call of Duty for I don't know since like 2008. Well, yeah, he's not a real competitive guy. He just designed some maps for Advanced Warfare, but you got me talking about Dr. Disrespect now. The two-time. So ranked play, right? It just came out in the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. PC players there's just so, like, if you play on PC or crossplay, there's just so many hackers at the higher
Oh,
levels.
yeah.
And so if you have a console, you're able to turn crossplay off and only play people that are like on Xbox or PlayStation. Now, what I will say is you technically can hack on these consoles as well. It's just much harder, and not many people do it. But there are some use cases for consoles. It's just not, there's not very many of them.
Okay. Yeah, they just speaking of Call of Duty, I think last weekend, so last weekend or maybe this weekend, I think it was last weekend. They get one of the major hack websites like released free hacks for people, and it was
Yeah.
just, it was unplayable. You couldn't go into the game. People were, they had walls, they're quick shotting you in the head. So it was just unplayable. I haven't played it in a while. It's been pretty bad, but there's some games like, and again, like, I don't even know. AAA developers, we should talk about that as a hot take too. They suck anymore. But all right, I'm going to move on to my next thing real quick.
It's all about the battle pass.
Yeah, it's all.
We don't have to go into it.
Yeah. My last hot take, I'm going to touch on it real quick, and I'm going to say it as I wrote it down in our little document. It's Collecticon shit the bed with planning of New Jersey. I'm very, very upset with the whole New Jersey Collecticon scenario now. Obviously, it's in Edison. It's at the huge convention center. The hotel that's recommended is in New Brunswick. It's a 20-minute drive. It makes no freaking sense at all.
So they came out with a recommended hotel. When did that come out?
So Professor Birch hit me up yesterday morning or this morning. It was one of the mornings, and they put the recommended hotel. It's in New Brunswick, which is home of Rutgers University. So there's a lot to do in New Brunswick, but the 20-minute drive it's going to take is just, I feel like they shit the bed. They dropped the ball on this one. It's not my favorite scenario. I was so pumped about New Jersey, and I feel like this is going to make a lot of people decide they don't want to go to New Jersey. I still think it's going to be a massive show in terms of tables at the actual Collecticon event itself. But to make the hotel that far away is just, I think it's outrageous. I don't know what they were doing, why they planned it that way, what made them decide that. There's so many other spots in New Jersey that they could have used. Hell, you could have gone down to Philly. You could have gone into New York or Yonkers. Go somewhere else where there's something close. Like, I think maybe Charlotte spoiled me because everything's so perfect and nice and condensed and easy to walk to. I stayed at an Airbnb. I didn't stay at the recommended hotel. And it took me 10 minutes to walk to the recommended hotel and then 10 minutes more to get to the convention center. So, like, it's not bad, but most people come and don't have cars. Like, people are flying in for this. And so I'm just upset about that. So that's my hot take on that. They shit the bed.
Yeah, that is, I'm upset because that's like one of the ones I'm going to this year, and being 20 minutes away if you stay at the hotel is.
So obviously I'll be giving rides out to people. We'll pack in like sardines. I'll get us from point A to point B, but just, I just don't get it. I don't understand what that thought process was. I'm just hoping it's because they think that the show itself is going to be massive, because the space 150,000 square feet. So they can put a ton of tables in there if they wanted to. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with that, but we're going to move on.
I don't even know if that's a hot take now. That's
that's just like a take. I just had to say, because I was so like against. I was so pumped. I put out a special video for it, like when it came out, when they released it, and now it's just like it's over. So all right, we're moving on to our second to last segment of the show tonight, and that is rabbit holes. So rabbit holes are going to be a bi-weekly thing that we do. Obviously, this is a bi-weekly podcast, or fortnightly for those that listen to other podcasts. But rabbit holes are, I'm going to give PoNGa something to look into, and he's going to go down that rabbit hole, and he's going to give me something to look into, and I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. And then when we reconvene in 2 weeks, we're going to talk about what we found, and then hopefully have something off of that rabbit hole to ask the other person to start like looking into and researching a little bit. So I will go first for the rabbit holes. So I'm going to challenge PoNGa to research the I Love Bees campaign from 2004. It is a alternate reality game that came out for Halo, Halo 2 to be specific. And that's really all I'm going to say about it, because I want him to be able to explain kind of what it is in 2 weeks. So yes, I love bees. For all the old heads in here that were around for that if you know, you know. It was a very cool concept. So I love bees. Look for that in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I was a big Halo 2 guy. I was pretty young back then, but surprised. I honestly haven't ever heard of it, so I'm excited to look into it a little bit. And
Yeah, I'm pumped for
once
you to look
again,
at
like it's going to be really this is one of my favorite segments. It's going to help us learn, and it's going to help maybe teach a few people out there a few things, so they just have a wider knowledge base. So excited to look into the I Love Bees. So my challenge for you is the Japanese Versus series. So obviously one of those sets that we never got in English. Well, I guess like some of the cards got released in English, but not like a wide set release. I don't want to go in too much depth there, but want you to look into the set, pick out some cards you like, the history behind the set, all those kind of things, and we'll go from there.
All right, awesome, man. I definitely want to look into that. It's been funny enough, it's been on my list of things to like delve into. So now you're giving me a reason to put it to the top of the list. I'll start looking soon. And hopefully have some good stuff for you guys in 2 weeks. And all right, and to close out the first episode of the Box Nostalgia Podcast, we're going to do this every time we come on. We are going to play a little game I like to call Name That Pokemon. Let me pull this up.
So when he's pulling this up, the way we're going to do it is we're going to keep it pretty easy for the first one. I think, when we have our live episodes and stuff, this is probably a segment that we're going to expand on, have the chat chime in and make fun of us so how dumb we are. I think both of us probably don't know the newer gen Pokemon all that well. So I think for tonight, we're probably just going to leave it at Gen 1 and 2. So the way we're going to structure it is there's going to be a Pokemon. Yeah, easy mode. We're going to have a Pokemon on screen. It's going to be my turn to guess. If I don't know the Pokemon, that Beerski will have the chance to guess, and then we'll alternate there. And we'll only do like 1 or 2 of them.
All right, I'm going to pull it up.
It's Pikachu.
Let's go.
All right. Well, this is a really easy one because Gen 1 is pretty easy. So it is Krabby.
Hold on. Oh, I messed this up.
Oh, no.
Oh, where is it? Oh, here we go. Okay. It is Krabby. And there's his awesome Gen 1 noise. Oh, here we go. All right. So this is obviously Typhlosion.
Yeah.
Oh. Awesome, dude. I love the sound effects. It's so cool.
Dragonair. Come on.
Do a couple more. Oh, that's Venonat. Venomoth.
Oh, no, you got it wrong. You got it wrong.
Venomoth. What a champ. That's it. Oh, man. That's Hitmon. Crap. Hitmonlee. All right. Got that right.
Croconaw.
Got it.
My favorite starter ever. Totodile.
Oh, man. What is this? Oh, I'm terrible. I don't know. What is it, PoNGa?
Azumarill.
See, PoNGa's got it.
Is that
a Comfy?
That's a tough sprite. I have a guess, but I think my guess is Gen 3, so.
What's the guess?
It kind of looks like, what's the Pokemon's name? Skiploom, but I know that's not it, so it has to be, I don't know.
Skiploom.
Oh, okay, it's Skiploom. I thought that was Gen 3. I must have been, I'm off on that one.
What is this, Sneasel? Yep. All right, 2 more. Oh, that's easy.
Haunter.
And our last one. Oh, man. Oh. What the hell is the name of this Pokemon? It's Cleffa. Yeah, or Cleffa.
All right,
awesome.
So for future episodes, we'll make it a lot
harder. A little harder. Yeah, for sure.
But we just wanted to get kind of used to it. Not look too dumb on the first episode.
Well, everyone, I think that's it. Any closing words of wisdom for tonight, PoNGa? Anything you want to get off your chest before we go?
No, I just want to thank everyone for watching. I kind of want to go over again, Box Nostalgia Podcast. Our goal here is to really talk about all TCG related stuff that we're nostalgic about. Most of that's probably going to be Pokemon related, maybe a little Yu-Gi-Oh, because I'm actually very nostalgic for Yu-Gi-Oh. So maybe we'll have some topics there. But then video games were like a huge part of both of our lives. I think like a lot of the podcasts out there just focus on Pokemon. So we wanted to be a little different and kind of bring video games into them, kind of be a main component of what we're going to talk about. I think we're doing this every other week currently with your episodes on your channel for your beer o'clock in between that.
Yes.
And then I think we do have some plans to do some lives and stuff like that. We're still kind of figuring out the frequency of that. And then possibly having some guests on where we still do these segments, have different guests on that will give their hot takes, go to the guest at Pokemon, do a little beer pong segment with us and kind of go back and forth with us. So super excited for the future. This was a really fun episode 1. I hope you all enjoy.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much the same for me. I had a great time doing this tonight, PoNGa. I can't wait for next week. Thank everyone who took the time to watch this. I appreciate it. Please, if you could do us a favor, hit the like, subscribe, bell notifications, all the whistles, everything you can do for us. We really appreciate it.
And we're also going to have our Instagrams and YouTube channels and all that stuff in the
links
description.
below.
And so go follow all of us in all of our different places and subscribe to Beerski's channel.
All right, thanks. And PoNGa's on there too, so give him a few subscribes. All right, everyone, thanks a lot, and I hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.